Hello, I am Olson. Before demonstrating how I can help struggling readers, let me explain why they are struggling. There are many contributing factors. For some, dyslexia and/or other innate variations in neural infrastructure. For others, inadequate earlier learning of sounds, letters, words and/or common knowledge. Many are casualties of dystecia and ineffective instruction in how to decode unfamiliar words. And, most who chronically struggle, develop self-sabotaging performance anxiety. But these factors are not the cause of reading difficulty. Rather, they and others make learning to read more difficult because they insufficiently resource, misdirect, and/or sabotage the artificial brainwork involved in working through the code's bizarre confusions. Let me explain. A is for ant. B is for bear. C is for cat. Seems pretty simple, doesn't it? Actually, the letter-sound reflexes we train into children turn out to be wrong most of the time. Contrary to these simple associations, and even in early elementary words, most of the letters make many more sounds. Take the letter A. It appears about 800 times in 500 common kindergarten words. 17% of the time it makes its letter name sound
A.
29%, its common sound. 23% of the time it's silent. 15%, the schwa sound. 9% its stretched sound. And 7% of the time it's part of a group that is spelling yet other sounds.
Air. Or. Air. Or.
Contrary to flashcard-like ingraining, learning to reflexively read A as either its letter name or common sound will be wrong half of the time, which sabotages word recognition. Most of the letters have similar ambiguity. 25 of the 26 letters can make their flashcard-like names and common sounds.
Z. Zip.
22 letters have the third possibility of not making any sound at all, of being silent. 4 of the vowel letters, in addition to making their letter names I common sounds I, and being silent, have the additional possibility of making the or schwa sound, adding more potential for confusion. 10 of the letters have the additional possibilities of making one or more exception sounds. For example, when the letter E makes the A sound. When the letter G makes the J sound. The way the letter I can make the E and Y sound, and the way the sound U can be made by both the letter O and U. Causing even more of the confusion that makes learning to read so difficult for so many. At least 15 of the letters are frequently arranged in arbitrary spelling patterns. Often, these groupings are inconsistent ways of representing the same sounds. For example, the numerous ways of spelling, the air sound,
Air. Air. Air.
the ear sound,
Ear. Ear.
and the or sound.
Or. 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 Or.
Other common patterns don't sound anything like the letters they are made from. The ways the letters S and U make the sh sound. The way that T and I can make the sh sound, and the way P and H can sound like the letter F. To summarize, even in elementary words, letters can spell sounds in a number of confusing ways. This kind of letter-sound ambiguity gets even more complex with larger vocabularies. Like with the letters A, with E, with O, with R, and with many other letters. Virtually every method and model of reading and pre-reading instruction is about training brains to work with this confusion. Phonics with all its abstract rules and exceptions is the most notable example. But all other current models of reading instruction, and even spelling games, are also attempts to prepare readers to reflexively work through this confusion. But all these instructional methods are warped around an archaic assumption, the same millennia-old assumption around which our assessment, science, research, and policy revolve. An assumption that insists readers be trained to remember and apply abstract knowledge, skills, and rules to the process of decoding unfamiliar words. This was an understandable assumption when written words were inert two-dimensional images, and it was inconceivable that touching them could help you learn to read or understand them. Abstract reading instruction was necessary to learn to decode words that were chiseled, engraved, scribbled, pressed, typewritten, screened, or printed on dot matrix, inkjet, laserjet, or early electronic displays. It's not because these media are the cause of the confusion, centuries of accidents and negligence are. But it is because they are unable to interactively help readers learn confusing words that our models of reading instruction have had no choice but to use abstract training. But today's online words are different. Though they look the same as the words on older media, what we see is just the tip of the iceberg in a digital ocean of potentially helpful learning resources. Instead of inert print, today's words can have virtually built-in tutors. Tutors that can instruct and support learners, regardless of their primary language, reading skills, vocabulary, or background knowledge. Inevitably, learners will be able to touch any online word and immediately receive whatever personalized help they need in order to read and understand it. How should we rethink reading instruction if instead of having to train brains to be ready for decoding, the words themselves are self-educating and able to teach anyone, word by word, instantly and shamelessly, anything there is to learn about them? Visually cued sound outs guide word recognition.
Shamelessly.
Providing a library of accessibility and relevant references support both recognition and understanding. This kind of word learning support applies to all online words, including those used in the references.
Impudently.
The references can include all known types, for example, definitions, synonyms, roots, and translations in numerous languages. Such a system can also provide a new way to read out loud that shows how the letters in each word being read are related to the sounds in that word as it is heard. For example, anything there is to learn about them. If all this seems like too much technology, remember that it is our buggy, archaic information technology that makes learning to read so difficult in the first place. In closing this video, it's important to understand that this is not about selling products and making profits. It's not about any existing reading method or yet another round of the reading wars. This is about adding a new layer of functions, cost-free, to the commonplace behaviors of online words. More on how we will do this will be coming soon. In the meantime, a free alpha version of what's been described in this video is available today. It can easily be added to Chrome or Edge as a browser extension that can support learning on billions of pages on the web. Along with other helpful features, Olson is also built into the Magic Ladder's library of literacy learning lessons, stories, and ebooks. To find out more about using, sharing, or helping Olson, please go to magicladder.org/OLSN. Finally, to learn more about the continuing reading crisis, how this artificially inseminated language experience works, the early life learning required for children to be ready for its challenges, the many causes and contributing factors that make it hard to learn, the learning disabling consequences of protracted difficulty, and to understand how this archaic infotech became the unnaturally confusing code that most challenges the brain, please visit childrenofthecode.org. Once again, to find out more about using, sharing, or helping Olson, please go to magicladder.org/OLSN. Thank you.